Всю жизнь он продвигал философию, основанную на фундаменте стратегического мышления. Все как швейцарское, да? Строго интеллектуального отношения, внимания к деталям и страсти к дизайну. Пожалуй, вот как раз приверженность к этой философии и помогла ему внести колоссальный вклад в визуальную культуру, принципы которой применяются и по сей день повсеместно. Я снова, это совпадение, но я снова хочу прочитать вам цитату, которую сам спикер написал к этой лекции. Если вы хотите запутать людей, захламляйте пейзаж. Если вы хотите добиться успеха, сохраните его пустоту. Да? Жалко, что он не поймет, что это ему. Он думает, что это мне. Нет, это его цитата. Встречаем. Фритц, Gottschalk.
Dobrý den. Ja, rád být istes. Love to be here. Love to be here. Wonderful audience. Thank you very much for having me. Before I forget, thank you to the people at the technical they still amaze me, blow me away. Thank you very much for your work. And of course, Alexander, please come up on the stage for 1 sec. Hey! Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very, very much. And would you give a hand? Where's Stanley?
Right here.
Where's Stanley?
Stanley. This game.
A hand for Stanley. He made it possible for me to come here. My business partner, friend, everything else. Oh, so much for starters. Okay? You saw all kind of very good, very interesting presentations, and when Alexander's letter came in, I figured, oh boy, what am I going to do? Okay? what can be of any value for you. And I'll give you only one thing, and that's quality of design. I'm nothing else but a graphic designer. And my wonderful, interesting life I have had because of this terrific profession. And I can only say to you, you lucky guys, at the threshold of a new period, of a new times, the sky is the limit, believe me. The sky is the limit. At the same time, I want to be frank, up front. You only reach your pipe dream if you are two things: focused and don't give up. Tenacity. That's what it takes. You gotta concentrate. From my point of view, you do anything you would like to do, but from my point of view, what I've done, what my experience is, in today's and mainly in tomorrow's world, you only can stand out if you have some specific, whatever you want to call it, okay? And I'm not going to call it branding or any of this stuff. I think, you know, as humble as I am, but I think we have done branding 50 years ago. And for you to get a little bit an idea about time, Stuart Ash, my Canadian partner, and myself, we started 50 years ago. And not a dull moment. We have, I think, the most fascinating, the most interesting profession. And I somehow envy you, because to me, I was sitting in any one of your chairs a few minutes ago. And then my life passed, boom, and all of a sudden I'm up here. That's how I see my life. It went incredibly fast. Doesn't bother me, because there was never a dull moment. Okay, now the visuals. That's where we are in Zurich. We are 6 people, 1 administration, 3 designers. And we do, again, I repeat myself deliberately, we do graphic design, graphic design, graphic design. What am I going to show you, okay? At the beginning I thought I'm not going to show anything at all. And then I thought, that's not fair. I have 3 projects, or 3, whatever. Craft, what is craft? Craft is diminishing from my point of view. And unless you are a master craftsman, or a master of your craft, you go under. That's the first little bit. Then something that's kind of difficult for you to grasp, but also more difficult for me to explain, because that's a job which is not graphic design, and it's actually almost an anti-design job, you know. And the third one is, what do you do if you have a chance to create an icon for a nation that will be used for between 25 to 30 years by every second citizen of the country? And then when I looked at it, I said, that's a little thin. I'll go and show you a few things we did, okay? Not very much. I mean, you know how much the whole thing will last, okay? So, you know, it's not a coincidence. And I heard the name 2 or 3 times yesterday and today. This is good old Mr. Malevich, the Black Square. One of the absolute best paintings I can think of. To me, that's the start of everything. And you, Russians, should be very proud of Malevich, Elvitsky, and company. And what is beautiful, now I'm talking about the visual person, in this painting, I mean, he intellectually and visually wanted to show the end of painting. Black, a square, finished, end of spiel. But look at it. I don't know whether you see it, but there are cracks in here. You know, can you see them? Yeah, I guess it cracked over a period of time, which to me shows that whatever you do, things are alive. And this is why I love this so much. Now, look at this while I'm opening this. Just look at it, okay? It's a lion. A few letters. This is, right now, for the last few years, has been our favorite client. It's a private bank out of Geneva by the name of Pictet, family owned, founded 1805, and they are, like me, Geneva is a Protestant city, a Huguenot city. I come from a Protestant family in Zurich, and what does that mean has actually less to do with religion than with attitude. If you come out of that world, you don't bullshit, you don't big mouth, you don't blah blah blah, etc., etc. So that's what we got started with. That's what they had till we got started, okay? And then after a certain while, and that's why we like to work for clients for a longer period of time, because hit and run doesn't get you the results that we would like to achieve. To you, you probably think right now, what's he talking about? It's okay. We said no. You concentrate on the white, and then you concentrate on the blue, and then you do it over again. And the more you look at it, the more you see the tremendous changes within this crest and within these letters. It's not just a question of making the lion smaller. That's the most obvious. But it goes way beyond that. The area which struck me most is here. This is visually, topographically, graphically, an abortion. The C has been amputated. It falls back. You see this? And this is come on, really bad. This is a very, very small detail, okay? And you see, this serif is deliberately smaller, and this is deliberately bigger. And now I'm coming to one of my favorite aspects, contrast. Things have to be absolutely clear. Look at the serif here, and look at our serif. This one disappears, okay? This one is up and over and towards the end and tuk, okay? It's a clear situation, okay? And this is what, to me, design is all about. I could go on about this for an hour at least, okay? But this is what our profession in the future will be about. You've got to figure out the details. And in order to figure out the details, you have to have not only a proper education, patience, tenacity, and all the rest of it, but you also have to have, and hopefully God gave you that, a little bit of talent. Okay? And that's what makes something like that. Thank you. The reason, actually, the most important that I forgot, you know, when we looked at, come on, cursor. When we looked at that, okay, it didn't take much convincing of the client because, very simple, The original was designed for yesterday's world, okay? And on your iPhones that you all love, and you look into day and night, you know, the details disappeared because it was not figured out properly, okay? You have to have clear situations. Look at it as lesson. Look at the old tail down in the corner there, and look at the new tail. You see this? You see how bland this tail is there? That's like a hook in a butcher store where they put the sides of beef. There's no tension in it. There's no elegance in it, okay? And look what we did. We shortened it, and we shortened it, we stopped it not aligning with the P and not aligning with the bottom part of the P, but in the middle. So you have, again, a beautiful, you know, the class we simplified as well, because we only wanted this to be decorative. Okay. But you have this line, you have this line, and of course, you have the bottom line. And if you figure all of these things out, then you have something really good. I'm very proud and pleased of this job, you know. And this is not done in half an hour. You know, that's done again and again, and it's also looked at on a piece of paper, and it's looked at in reverse, and so on, because this version will be used. I mean, they have 4,500 employees, you know. Trillions of times will this represent this wonderful private bank. Number one. Okay. I go back. This is more a story than design, okay? Try to make it very quickly. Zurich, industrial hub of Switzerland, about 1 million people, very industrious, very business oriented, an abundance of advertising throughout the city, okay? A new mayor was chosen, a lady, and the lady said, okay guys, I've had enough of this stuff, no more outdoor advertising, rip everything down, okay? And everybody said, well, boy, oh boy, this is a free enterprise country, you know? And what we said, okay, they got revenues. I'm talking about poster frames, okay? The city always gets revenue from poster frames, okay? So what we did, we said, we're going to rip everything down. You are going to let us put up the poster frames in optimum position, to which the city on city ground has to give the okay. Okay? For that, we are going to design a proper poster frame. This is the situation to the left, okay? The way they were placed throughout the city haphazardly. And we then developed a system. We figured everything out, where and how, made sure the cadence was correct, etc., etc. And this is the poster frame system. Why did I say anti-design? The crux of this whole thing is this little detail here. You see here? That's a key bar about this wide, this width and this wide. Standard production steel you could buy by the yards, okay? And we took these key elements. From the front you could see very, very little, because I wanted the poster by itself to be the star of the whole thing. And we implemented it. It's such a success, the system, it's now all across Switzerland. We reduced the positions 30%, and we increased the revenue for the city from 1 million to 3 million. And this is what it looks like. Now, is this graphic design? I don't know. I don't care neither, you know. But I think these are areas where a graphic designer could and should really play an even more important role in the future. Okay, you get the chance to design a passport, okay? Switzerland did not want a new passport for aesthetic reasons. The old passport was replicated by rogue states, okay? And Switzerland, the government got there and said, we gotta have a new passport and make sure that the new passport contains the very latest technology against forgery. And that was a reason for this project. And I got a dossier that thick with stipulations what had to be covered. And I read it a number of times and said, I mean, how can you do anything decent? If you have to pay attention to this, you pay attention to that, this color, and then one day, I had an idea, a very basic idea. I said to myself, okay, you guys, you pencil pushers and you technicians with your stipulations, that's all okay, but I'm a graphic designer. I am going to look for a concept, not from a technical point of view, but from a mental point of view. How can I get the whole of Switzerland into this document? Okay? And the minute I had that thought, everything fell into place. And what you have here is you have a vertical line, okay, and you have a horizontal line, okay? If you fly into Switzerland from Germany, you see the rolling hills, the foothills, the peaks get higher and higher, and here you have the jagged Alps. That's the basic scene, okay? Then out of the forces, when the continental plates moved, there were as rarities crystals, and this here, then out of these forces, this crystal was formed. Now, this element is smack in the middle. If I go up here, this is already a little bit off the middle, and this is even more off the middle. And you have the scene of topography, the crystal, and the Swiss cross, okay? And you have, if you look at it, I always try to play, how shall I say, apply the system rigorously, but I always deliberately break the system in order for the system to be alive. Go back, okay? Front cover. You think, Swiss cross, a little bit of red and a few lines of gold. Big deal. Okay. Let me explain if you don't mind. Look at the position of the Swiss cross. Okay. This is the center, okay, of the Swiss cross. This here, you know, this is not the half and half of the area. It's a little bit below, okay? The Swiss cross by itself, the official Swiss cross, and that's why I can call it the Swiss cross. The Swiss cross, you might think, big deal, 5 squares. And this is not an invention of mine. The arms are in proportions 6 to 7. Some guy way back when figured that out. And that's why this is a specific Swiss cross. If you put 5 squares, it's a sack of potatoes, like that. So we put it in this position. Okay, here. It's of course, okay. And then we have this element. This is the only element that has upward thrust, because we wanted to show Switzerland hopefully in a positive upward thrust way. You have the red. This is not just a red. Switzerland has no official red, but we said we want to have the most pleasant, the most reddish red. And this red is based on Carl Gerson's red that he used for the Swissair logo. And he tweaked it a little bit, and this is not only from my color, the brightest red, it has a hue of yellow in it, just a little bit. And then you have these three colors that jive together, the white, the red, and the gold. Okay. Okay, this I explain. Then you have all the technical aspects that you have to accommodate and so on. You've got to have a look at how the folio is put in here. Okay, you have this again in the middle, okay, to accommodate all of these technical things which fit it perfectly. It didn't bother me at all. Here we are towards the middle of the change from rounded to jacket. And what is interesting here, these are not just two designs in two colors, but if you look at it, you see this little bit here and to the corner is here is blue. This is brown. This is from here to here blue. So we really played with these two colors, which from a technical point of view have the same wavelengths when you photograph them. In order for the forger, if you would want to replicate this and print it in two colors, he would have to spend hours to by hand deviate one color from the other. This is what we call a latent image. That's inside front and inside back cover. That's kind of three-dimensional printing. And if you twist it, you might have it on your banknotes as well. It changes, okay? And again, all's the same theme, you know, a different rendition of the crystal and a different rendition of, in this case here, three different Swiss crosses. Then for the very first time, they wanted a specific watermark for every page, so we used the page numbers as the watermark. Each page has that big watermark. Then we redesigned the numbering system to make it different from all of the other numbers. This is what the Wanier gets when he puts it into the ultraviolet machine. Now this is the folio, and you see this element here. Okay, this is just one line. If I go back, you know, you won't. Okay, sorry. You see here? It's one line, and you hardly see the difference in color, okay? Now, if this is out, a fraction, a micro, whatever it is, of an inch, it becomes like I just showed you. Okay? And this, to me, is the cat's eye. This is for the custom sky. This is in the middle on every page, and look what this is. This is not pure technical gobbledygook, but it's also design, and I'm happy with the design that I found that solution in order to accommodate their technical stipulations. Look what it is. You have one color, you have the brown, you have the green again, and this here, these are the two colors printed on top of each other. And not only that, if you look at the page, through the page, this is 100% in the same position because it's what is called simultaneous printing. These things can only be printed by the paper going down vertically and the image is being put at the same time onto the image. Otherwise you would never be able to accommodate to achieve such a result. And this is actually almost my favorite aspect. And why mentally okay? Creatively, technically, this is a very, very rich document. It's so packed with information and aspects. And I said, okay, now, I can now relax. I explained it to you. And this is what this is all about. You know, I'm giving you a break, and that's all. You know, I didn't want to have anything else on the cover. It has also a practical aspect. You know which side is the front side. So this is so much for the Swiss passport. And it's perhaps, you know, as a designer, and I'm saying that not to show off or any of this stuff, you know, but it's really gratifying to know that you found a solution, not only technical, also mentally, also artistically. And if you then imagine, they distributed 4 million of these passports. Every second Swiss person had this passport. And that's a pretty good feeling, I think. Okay, last one. I'm actually through. Thank you, thank you. Just to give you a little bit of an encouragement. That's the right word, sadly, right? Okay. I'm a graphic designer, And that's it, okay? I'm not a business guy, I'm not a communication expert, no. And because we, at the office, always stay true to our beliefs, which is minimalism, minimalism, minimalism. Thank you, Mr. Malevich, okay? Honesty, straightforwardness, I abhor trends, because this is not what design is all about. Design is being above trends, okay? So, just a few more little things, which I just put together in trend. So you get a little bit of an idea of the scope of work that we do, okay? Here we are in Montreal in about the I won't tell you when, it doesn't matter. Montreal at that time, this is a construction hoarding. Anybody could stick anything on it, no rules whatsoever. When I had a chance to do this poster for the Montreal Museum of Art, I looked at these hoardings and I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use all of this stuff surrounding it by just sticking, in principle, white paper on these walls. And look at the effect. That's being a designer as well. You've got to know what to do and when to do it, and when you can zap in or zoom in or take something from somebody. By the way, very quickly, you know, at my age, I'm being asked now and then, you know, Fritz, aren't you running out of ideas? You know, where do your ideas come from? You know what my answer is? The client gives me the ideas. And you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about listening. You, as a designer, have to listen to your clients, because they give you the idea. Plus, the clients, with all due respect to us designers, but most clients know much more about their products than we know. Yeah, okay, that's the first multi-image we did. That's an outdoor advertising company in Toronto, in Canada, and I put this in because of, okay, but what I want to point out to you, for your hopefully benefit, is okay. Now, this shape, okay? If you look at it, you start up here, okay? You look at this curve, okay? You can't tell where the curve stops and where the straight line starts. That And now you look at a very important element, and that's this here. If this here, this little detail, would be wider, the whole thing would become clumsy. If it would be a little narrower, this part would break off, okay? And that's the craftsmanship that I want to make you aware of. That's what design is all about when it comes to the execution. First of all, you gotta have the idea, okay? You have to do a lot of other things, like you have to be willing to go out there and shake the bushes. You have to be always positive. You have to be excited, and I am in every meeting. I am, and that's not a show. I am excited about what we are working on, and that has to affect the client. Look at this detail here. You can ask yourself, why this? Okay, you know why? Because this is a triangle, and we didn't want this just to be another triangle. We wanted this little nipple here, you know, not only to change the triangle, but also make the force that's within the triangle, yep, you sense it, and then it starts to jive together. I must admit, these are some of my favorite, very favorite slides, because this is very nice. Come on, yeah? Okay. Again, you know, imagine you're living in a country, you know, like dear Greg was showing you Canada, you know. Canada wants to go metric, and we have a chance to do a metric symbol for the whole of Canada. Going metric, and this is what it is. And I think, yeah, I don't know, but I think it's not necessarily for me to point it out. This is the M, okay, for metric, and this is the maple leaf. And then you can say, yeah, Fritz, you're lucky, because Canada is a bilingual country. Luckily, metric and metric starts with an M, otherwise we couldn't have done that, you know? But you got to take advantage, wherever you can take advantage, visually, but whenever you can take advantage of something, do it, do it. Here we are, that's the Zurich, B stands for Bourse, which means stock exchange. That's the Zurich Stock Exchange, and you know, in the old days, they had these rings they traded with, so it's a takeoff on the historic aspect of a stock exchange, and the circle, of course, represents money going around the world, kind of. Here in Toronto again, this is the first high-rise building in downtown Toronto by the Reichman brothers, called York Centre, and this is actually the predecessor to the Reichmans, are the ones who put up the 3 towers at Canary Wharf, which got the whole of London started in terms of, you know, really growing as the financial center. And this is a state bank. This is for their new, something that's very common now, bankomat, with the took in the money. This is, again, 2 big companies merged under the new name of Anycam. They're all part of Any, and we had the chance to do the whole, today you would say, branding by bringing these 2 companies together. It was a very interesting job. They were sponsoring the Ferraris, and we sort of did all of their reception areas around the world, etc., etc. But the thing that I'm most pleased with, and I used to go to Italy, by the way, 8 years, every 2 weeks I was down there, you know. But what I'm pleased about, the design scheme is very simple. Well, you have a name and a type style that was actually developed by Bob Nordau way back, and we very simply that you have a new name, you know what your guys are going to do? You're going to put it vertically, wherever. And if you look at old movies of the Formula One, if you see the Anycam, it's either vertical, and that's it. And through this job, and that's personal, I got to know Italy. Absolutely fabulous. You know why I tell you that? Italy, to me, we actually always do three things. One middle of the road, one a little bit conservative, one a little bit, hopefully, avant-garde, okay? I always went down there, I looked at it, I never said anything, I just put it on the table, and the Italians came in, bravo, bravo, Fritz, bravo. I use it to my ear. Not only the word bravo, but you know what? They always pick the right one. They always pick the right one. Okay, this is very technical. This is not a UFO. This is high-tech stuff, a firm that does high vacuum thin film technology. To the left, you have the wafer going into the machine, then it's being put upright, and it's being bombarded, and it's da-da-da. And the other one is just the perfection of symbolizes the perfection of the surface. Then, if you land in Miami, this is the Miami Heat Stadium, where we did all the interior and everything, and as it is, it's called American Airlines Arena. And as it's nearby the airport, and you can see it, we figured we're going to put there the American Airlines symbol as big as possible on the roof. Here, stamps, and the top is photogrammetry. The second one is first one is photogrammetry, the second one I can't remember, the third one is geology, and the green one is geography. This is just to commemorate the 100th anniversary of a middle-sized bank in Zurich. This is Toronto again. You see I hope at least you see the T in here. And this is the symbol we created. This was the official bid for the Olympics, which Toronto unfortunately didn't get. But as I said, it's obvious it's the T and the fireworks of Olympics. See, Bagaigi, these guys are in the production of pigments. That's why the butterfly. And this is kind of interesting. How many more minutes have I got? Okay, I'll go quickly. A client we worked for over 20 years. So this is their head office, and this is the design of the facade I did. These are the offices of Proliteris. Okay, this is the boss's office, and that's why there is this little protrusion here. These are apartments, and these are apartments, and these down here are shops. In other words, it's nothing else but designing a double spread. And we had the chance to look after every detail on this project, and I said, okay, we're going to have no colors whatsoever. Signage detail, this is the interior court. You know what this is? That's a quintessence of everything. This is the reception area. The lady sits behind, this is an L-shaped piece of furniture. She sits here. And that's why I did it. Background is black, then you have the white, two extremes, and the gray in between. This is the magazine we do for them. That's their 35th anniversary. This is clear. This is about statesmen, people, da-da-da. Okay, this is translating. And again, you know, a designer, you don't just look at this, you know, like that. You look at this. You look at this space here. Not too big, not too small. And then you look at the type and you look at the details here. Look at that. You look at the name. This is centered. This is not centered. This is centered. And up here you have the basic themes. You have a hint through these rules at the grid inside. It all comes together. And this coming together is what gives it power. And you want these things to be powerful, because whatever you do, whatever anybody does, if you don't see it, forget it. Whatever it is, you know, if I look at it, what do? I see you, okay? And then you can tell me who you are and what you believe in and all the rest of it. But I gotta see it. And if I look at the world today with this quick I mean, stop it, Fritz, okay. The train system, 3 different kinds of transportation. These guys run through the valley. These guys go up the mountain. And these buses drive over the mountain. Pure semantics. Okay? Couldn't do it any simpler. But again, you know, I don't have the time. You know, you gotta look at the details here. You know, all of these things. You know, and it's gotta be, you know, it's got to be figured out, and it takes a little bit of time. Ottawa Airport, the main entrance, why these starts, to us, this visual scene hints at the tarmac lights that you see when you land. This is a poster about an exhibition called Icons, so I wanted to poster be an Icons. Again, I cannot not draw your attention to. Look at the typography. Look where this is, okay, and look where this sits, okay, and look where this sits, and these three relate, and this is the signature of the museum, and this is totally different from this information within the grid of these letters. Again, da 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 da, like music. Coming together. This is the past, okay? Genuine 1,000-year-old sculpture, okay? And then for the benefit of the public, they replicate the part which was missing in order for the public to see the whole thing. Now, what is this poster all about? Look at this black line. You can ask and say, Fritz, why the hell this black line? You know what my answer is? Very simple. The black line symbolizes the coming together of these two worlds. And look at the type. Look at the type. How the type dances. You have the idea, you have the two worlds, you have a, okay, and then you have, and that's what this poster is all about. We are not in Venice. This is not a mask. Does anybody know what that is? You know what it is? It's a seat in a rowboat, in a skiff. Okay? This is for an exhibition called No Name Design. Now, the object, I think, is absolutely wonderful, extremely powerful. And to us, that's not good enough. We then go into great lengths to figure this out. Look at that typography. I'm taking a sip of water, so you have to look at at those details. Well, that's what then makes it special, okay? You know what I'm saying to you nice people? I just love my job. That's the exhibition. This is a low-key skiing resort, you know. This is, with this, you have access to the ski lift. You know, one person, 79 francs a day. Look at the little detail there, okay? Here, you get access to the ski hill. You can stay overnight, and you get it for 177 francs, and look at this little detail there. And here, the whole family is invited. Mom and dad and 2 kids, and we give you a 10% discount. Implants, ceramic implants, okay? Rather expensive, I don't know how much they're here, but in Switzerland they cost some money. That's the packaging. And this here is the implant. And there are all kinds of requirements in terms of safety and sanitary aspects, etc., etc. And within this ball here, you have all of these beautiful okay. Packaging, not just the packaging, also a display, you just flip it open. This is a replacement for a broken vertebra, which is flexible, okay? It's just a graphic seam, not mathematically, at random, so it's alive. Okay, this is the website, okay? This website shows my aspiration when it comes to websites, okay? And what I mean is very simply clarity, okay? Product identification, okay? What it's all about, okay? And then general text, and here the implementation of this element and some other gobbledygook. Here, 2 little recognizable elements, English or French. Okay? And you have a slight differentiation of the background between this and that. Okay? I think this is a really good website. And to finish off with invitations, the Department of Architecture, University of Zurich, small invitations like that we could do, and this is what we did. Look at these invitations. And I'm showing you this in order for you to see and realize how wonderful a result you can achieve no matter what it is. It doesn't have to be a big job. There is not a lot of money involved, but you have to have this inner burning, wanting to do something a little special. And you've got to take the time to do it. You know, these things are not done, you know, doop, 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 tack, here it is, run with it. No, it's figured out. And that's what we love to do. I'm a graphic designer, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a graphic designer. That's what it's all about. Look at it, look at whatever detail. Look at it, yeah? You see that? A little bit of red there? You see this guy? You see this guy? You see this? You this? You this? You this? You this? I could go on and on and on, yeah? And this is, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. This is the red square that I can hardly wait to go and see tomorrow morning, because I want to stand in the middle of I want to stand in the middle of your red square. You're wonderful people. Thank you very, very much for having me. It's been a real pleasure. Oh, here it is. For those who are interested, one second, may I? Yes. This is the real passport. I give it to Stanley, and you can go and have a look at it if you want to. And then, for you people, you wonderful people, not to think, yeah, you can talk and all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. Okay?
You can talk.
Okay. You know what I got here? The last 3 jobs out of the office. Okay? And I'm going to leave these 3 jobs with you. Okay? This is the bank's, notice how they wrapped it for me, okay? This is the annual report of our bank. And you can look at it, and you should have a lot of time actually to look at it, because this is one of the very, very, very few jobs that I'm really happy with. And I'm not just happy with the design, I'm happy with the incongruency, is this a word? Incongruency of text. The text is absolutely fantastic. It's a pleasure to read, and the typography, the quality of the I want to show you something else. So when you look at it, you know what to look for. Very austere, very classic, okay? And then, what is this? A contrapunto. You got to give the reader a break, okay? Have a little bit of humor. Even Putin and Donald Trump, or this is the history of mankind, more or less. They're all in here, yeah. So that's that, okay? And then, you people with your iPhones. This came out, I can't remember, let's say 6 weeks ago. This came out 2 weeks ago, okay, 3 weeks ago. This is a philanthropist, okay? A young man, a wonderful young man, and look at that, look at this typography. This is what I call iPhone typography. Because you guys, you know, in my days, we were not even allowed to put a line vertical because we would say, you're crazy, I can't read it. Okay? You guys, you do this and this and this and this all the time. And this is the base, actually, behind this layout. Look at the type here, the type there. Yeah? This is what I mean by you people having an incredible chance to do things that one could never do before because people would have never accepted it. And always, whenever possible, you know, a touch of humor is never negative. And this is such a great client that pleases Fritz. Little Fritz is here. Look at him. Look at him as a designer, not just mentioned, but a little picture of the designer. I think this is great. And the last one, Alexander's getting nervous. You got to say thank you to dear Stanley, he schlepped it here. This is a book that just came out. We worked over a year on it. It's 9 times 9 variations on a specific architectural aspect. You know. Look, hasn't been opened yet. I'm going to open it in front of you, and I haven't looked at it. You know. The inside, you know. I saw so many double spreads yesterday and today, and then I look at this, and you can probably imagine what I think. Okay. These 3 things are for you to look at and to hang on to. Okay? And the Thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. And please, such a great city, such a great country, please, for your benefit, for the benefit of your country, go out there and shake the bushes. You're the professionals. You know what it's all about. And if you do it the right way, your clients will believe you. Good luck. Love you all.